What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We got an exciting show lined up for you this week that I've personally been waiting for ever since I met this dude. You got a lot to look forward to. Common sense is really starting to take off after last week's episode and all the previous work we've put in. So we've got some exciting things lined up for you guys. I'm going to quickly let you know that YouTube is really close to being where we want it after last week's show. Obviously, we're having a YouTube sensation on, did some magical things with our numbers, so we are just a few short of 100 subscribers. So I have not decided what the package is going to be yet, but I'm going to put a cool common sense package, and if y'all know the kind of stuff I put out, like whether it's the bourbon or the tequila or the sticks that we smoke on here, whoever ends up being that 100th subscriber for sure is getting something. I don't know what yet. We'll make it worth your time. But anybody between now and then that is a new subscriber that I can identify, like you have to make it visible because a lot of people are not visible on there. So as long as you do that, maybe comment on the show that you subscribed, share it, get your friends to do it. If you shared it and someone signs up and I can see that as well, I will include you in the little raffle we'll do. No time period on this. Like, I'm just going to let this run till the next show and see where it goes. But there will be a cool package for somebody besides just the 100th subscriber on YouTube. So without further ado, let's dive into this week's show and share some common sense with you guys and some common grounds and just, have the genuine, natural conversation that we have on here. And hopefully you guys learned some stuff and maybe you're inspired or maybe you just learned something new this week. So anyways, without further ado, let's welcome our guest this week, Geoff Colvin. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I was a little intimidated, man. You've out-bearded me. You're the first guest to out-beard me,
It happens, but hey, it's a brotherhood, man.
Yeah.
We are united by beard.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm going to have to get some, of that, horse mane shampoo or something now.
Dude, I got you. One of my buddies, he makes awesome stuff and, some of the best scents,
Nice.
No worries there. I got you covered. And he's about to launch his new shop. So previously, he did all this awesome, just Norse-inspired stuff where it was called Gungnir Grooming. So Odin's spear for those that are not initiated.
Okay. Odin's spear.
But
I like this already.
The best shit that I've ever used in my beard. I've tried a bunch of different companies, and the fact that it was a small business too is really cool. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. No, I'm totally all about small businesses and
man.
helping that out. That's absolutely cool. I not that I need any more products. My wife is going to start chiming in here in a minute and be like, "Oh shit, someone else just told him he needs another product."
Thank me later.
Yeah. I'll thank you, or we might have to have another conversation. I might need to sleep on your couch or something, depending on how expensive this Odin spear stuff is. But yeah, man, so let's tell everybody a little bit about you, what you do, what your background is, just so they can kind of get to know you.
Yeah.
Some of you probably know him from his band Urizen, Urizen. You guys should check this out if you don't know about it. I know they're really about to blow it off the roof when COVID happened, but
Yeah.
without further ado, man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. So yeah, Urizen has been awesome. That's it's been a big part of my life the last few years in particular. Music has always been ingrained in what we do. The most fun I've ever had on stage, man. That's the best way to put it. For those that may not be familiar, we really want to deliver a really incredible live show. So if you're going to come to a show, you're going to pay your money to come out, especially after COVID and everything like that. We want to make sure that it's just something that will get you talking and something that you can just have fun. So the guys in the band, we're all just super big, wrestling fans and video game fans and just all the stuff from our childhood growing up. So the nostalgia's there. So I would say it's kind of getting to live a big boss fight with music. And it's just it's a whole production. So we have stage props and little just different mechanics that we do to where it's just little theatrics and it's just a blast, man.
It's truly a show. This is not just going to see a concert or a gig that your friends are in. When I first heard about it and I looked it up, My first, and I'm forewarning a lot of my friends, because there's a group of you that are going to instantly dig this, and there's a group of you going, what the hell are you telling me to listen to, Garrett? Like, what is this? What is my mind seeing and hearing right now? Because right out the bat, I was like, oh, this is definitely not my cup of tea. Yeah. And then I kind of watched it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's not as gimmicky as I thought it was. And, and I'm randomly selecting YouTube videos and stuff before you even sent me some of the ones you sent me. Those ones, it was a lot easier because it was a natural progression in the show. Yeah. Whereas what I was getting was random parts throughout shows on videos, and I was like, what are these dudes doing? Because it was kind of like, I got this hardcore German, like, Du Hast, like, vibe right out the beginning. And then dudes are wearing boxes on their heads. There's all these contraptions coming out and stage props and random, like that, like the guy that talks from like the 50s in the background of like albums and like early Incubus or Sublime or, one of those. Like, I mean, Nothing More does that a lot with that guy that's like the commercial. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. What is that best described as? That guy that's like the commercial ad. He's like from the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, just like the,
you shouldn't roll a joint this way. And he like goes on this little tirade and gives you a little speech, that kind of thing. And it totally had that mad scientist vibe. And I think the first video I saw, like, you guys had these contraptions getting hooked to your head and you guys are just rocking out. And I was like,
y'all got to show me where to go on YouTube to find this. This sounds so interesting.
Urizen. Just YouTube. Okay. And you're going to be able to pull that up. And these videos, man, like, it's a full-on production, like, and you guys build and make all the props that you're using, right?
I would love to take credit for that, but that is all Tommy, our singer. Him and his brother Daniel have just come up with all these awesome ideas. But basically, we start the show, and we get interrupted after the first song by a mad scientist most of the time. And so it comes out, we got voiceover and stuff like that, and so he puts us in these mind control units that we built. But, like, it's cool to see because, like, it lends itself well to, like, shows and stuff, but it's all made out of, like, colanders and, like, PVC pipe, and, like, it's very, like, well thought out to where, like, before I was in the band, they did a tour over in, like, where was it? It was like Sweden and Finland and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And so they had to build like a full road rig for overseas because shipping costs are insane. So like he's just so like talented at putting all this stuff together and coming up with cool ideas where like we have this big goo monster at the end where it's like this 10-foot inflatable with a big eyeball that we fight. There's a robot that comes out. So this sounds so crazy out of context, but I promise you, if
there's
you check
a dude
the show,
walking around with little legs inside of a cage.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, like, it's different.
Yeah, we got like flash paper charges, we got Nerf guns, we got all kinds of stuff. So I guarantee you will have fun.
And it doesn't look like they went to Home Depot and put this together like overnight.
No,
either.
this looks like
he's describing this as like very.
This looks like Sub Kiss concert.
Yeah,
seriously.
So yeah, damn. I mean it's fun, man. Like it just keeps it interesting, and you know it's like I said, man, it's the most fun I've ever had on stage. Just getting everybody's so bought into it in the band, and just like our crew that helps us too. It's so much fun, man.
That's cool, man. So what got you started in music? What were some of the other bands maybe that you were affiliated with or spent time playing with, and where did your music journey start?
Yeah, so I picked up a bass at 12. Everyone was playing guitar. I really wanted to play guitar, but I was like, you know what? Bass is kind of different. It's something, you know, not as many people are trying to do. And so I wanted to get really good at playing bass. And so we just started a small group with some friends from school and just started gigging by the time we were like, probably like 15. And we were playing like all these shitholes, like in the middle of nowhere. And like our parents were just like, they would still come to the shows, but they're like, why are my kids coming to this bar? And like we would come in and play, and then we had to leave, and then eventually we started just like, you know, doing everything in Deep Ellum and Fort Worth and stuff like that. And man, it was awesome. So we really kind of ramped up. Maybe in like 2011, I was in a project called Bear Witness, and it was just a really fun metal band. Got to open up a lot of national like tour packages and stuff. And so that was like the first like taste of that, where it's like that different side of being in a band where it's like, you know, you're not like, you're still a local band, but like you're starting to like ascend the ladder a little bit maybe. Like, but we're all like, you're getting to toe the line with some of the bigger names and some of the bigger locals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're opening up for them. Yeah. So you're at least, now you're not just playing from a mom and dad and some friends. Exactly. Yeah,
you're getting a
there.
crowd now. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's like I'm super thankful for all those opportunities. Like, there's nothing like being able to play music, and just like what it takes to be in a band and to have that creative outlet and be able to share that with people. It's awesome, man. And it's like, you know, you have those conversations with people at the merch table where they're like, hey, like, that was the best show I've been to. I mean, not every time, but like, you know, when that does happen and you can tell they're being genuine, it's like, man, that's awesome. Like, that makes it all worth it. Like, all the sacrifice and like all the stuff that goes into trying to be a band on that level. Cause like these days, like, it's perfectly fine just to like get together with your buddies and like play in the garage and just play your favorite songs or just write shit or whatever, man. Yeah. Like, it's hard to be in a band right now.
Yeah, it's hard to get gigs. I mean, COVID killed a lot of stuff. I mean, you and I have talked several times. I mean, I did some lights and sound and a little bit of guitar teching for a lot of my friends' local bands, and it got me kind of roadieing around with a lot of the big bands in the early 2000s that I just happened to have a lot of friends in those bands and stuff, man. Yeah. I have a passion for live music, especially acoustic, raw stuff, or, you know, a band. I'm going to say Dave Matthews, but that's not what I'm talking about. I mean, Benjamin Allen Band was a band around here locally of some of my really good friends for a long time. And those guys were just so raw, and every show was so organic that when they made an actual CD and got these big-time, like, Sony producers and stuff, man, I really didn't care for those CDs as much. Their live CDs that they recorded live at venues, those were absolutely nostalgic, took you back to a place in time.
It's special.
You know, like, there was this rawness that a producer sitting here over editing can totally screw up, and I watched that happen with bands like them and some others. And then you have the other bands that are, you know, bigger, you know, like the Edgewaters and the Nixons and Dolly Braid and, you know, all these different bands that I was fortunate to be around. And Vallejo, you know, see somebody like Vallejo that's, you know, weren't huge in the U.S., but like they won Grammys for best Latin rock, and like being around those guys and watching AJ and them like do their thing, like that was just absolutely amazing. As a young 20-something-year-old kid, man, like I mean, I used to live for that, man. I would work my schedule just to be able to go to that stuff all the time.
Exactly, and it's like those are the memories that you take with you too. Where like I think back to like my first show I ever went to was ZZ Top. Went with my dad. I was 5 years old. It was in '91. Here's the cool thing.
That's a hell of a first show.
No shit. And
I'm not telling you mine now.
No, you have to. But I remember that. Like I was just old enough to be able to remember that. And we actually found the ticket stub not too long ago when we were going through some stuff. So I still have that. I'm about to get that like framed up and like put it up in my house.
Yeah.
But, that was just such an amazing first show, and it's just like that's where it kind of started for me, where it's like seeing those dudes, like, you know, who are these dudes with big beards and sunglasses and like just like playing this rock and roll, just like bluesy, like I hadn't heard anything like it, and that ended up being a mainstay in our house growing up too, and it's just like little things like that, or like just seeing bands at like Bronco Bowl back in the day, where it's like,
I saw the last show at there.
Yeah. See, like, it's just stuff like that where, like, it sticks with you, and that fire burns, man. Like, it's always inside, and it's something that, like, never goes away, and it's, like, that short little time on stage, whether it be half an hour, whatever you're doing, like, it's just, it charges you up, and it's something that just, like, it brings all of those memories back at the same time, and being able to do it yourself, there's nothing like it, man.
Yeah, I mean, then you had things like the local show around here with Chaz and them.
Yeah.
Those guys are super cool. I mean, I'm really looking to bring something like that back. Like, I'm not going to talk about that a whole lot right now because there is some stuff in the works on that. But, like, that, being able to capture moments like that. You remember when The Edge did, like, that, I think it was, like, 99 cents or $1, and they did these random pop-up shows. And, like, you could be in the early 2000s, like, all of a sudden, you know, I'll say Nickelback, you know, and everybody's going to freak out. But, like, it was like Nickelback at Curtain Club.
Right.
Or Deftones at Curtain Club in these random bars in Dallas. And it's like, you just showed up. You had no idea who it was going to be. And then you got this, like, amazing, intimate, small
That's what I was gonna say.
show that was absolutely awesome. I love that versus going to a bigger venue. I mean, that's cool, and that has its place. I mean,
sure,
everybody would love that's a musician to get up and play in front of like 30,000 screaming fans. I mean, that's it. But you see a lot of these artists really enjoy it more, and it pulls something else out of them when you put them in that small, intimate space where they started out.
Exactly, and it's so memorable too. And it's just like you have that connection. And it's like, for me, it was always seeing the people in the band and just seeing like how they played that part on guitar, or just like hearing the drum fill live, or hearing the singer hit that note that you're like, wow, like that wasn't a producer, like that dude can sing, or
that wasn't auto-tune.
Exactly. So like it, and you get that connection with them too, where like, you know, maybe even at the merch table afterwards, where you get to have that conversation and be like, hey, this really spoke to me, this didn't, or it's like, how did you do this? And it's just, most people are so humble too that you can have those really cool like meet your heroes moments, and it's not something that will sour the taste for you.
Yeah, a lot of bands have gotten away from that too. I mean, I'm gonna give a shout out to Nothing More. I'm a huge fan of those guys. I've gone to like 3 of their VIP meet and greets, and those guys are so humble. And the fact that like they don't have somebody responding to every comment, like if your friends, like they have their social media accounts that are obviously handled by, you know, the powers that be within their management and stuff, but they also all maintain their own, and they still communicate with you and stuff. And they did something really cool during COVID, is they created their own app and this whole virtual reality type thing with the rabbit hole, where you got tidbits of like watching them start writing again, watching them in the studio, watching them break stuff down, putting stuff together to where you felt like you were part of the process of that next album coming out, man. And I thought that was so cool. And those guys are just so humble and will sit and have a conversation with you. I mean, their guitarist, Mark, he'll say, you want to talk about beer or hot salsa or whatever? And it's just like, to see that all these guys that haven't just had their heads blown off already, you know, and like think they're, you know, mega rock Hall of Fame guys that will still just, you could sit and have a normal conversation with this. I mean, I love that. Like, I think that's so cool.
Agreed. And that's the thing, man, is like, I used to do TV production as well more frequently. One of the gigs that we got to do was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. And so one of the ones I did was 2013. So it was like Carole King, Randy Newman, Run DMC, Heart, like
Run DMC,
dude, it was awesome.
Holy shit,
it was awesome. And so where I was going with that is like the humility between all those people. Like, there's no rock stars, and they have every reason to be, and like not talk to like bozos like me that are just working the show.
Yeah,
but it's something where like they were all so cool, and like it was just such a cool vibe and like a cool environment. And my favorite part of that is during rehearsals, they had everybody get on stage and then brought on people with like Tom Morello got up there and played guitar with everybody, and they would just play some of their songs. But it was like this big group jam with like Gary Clark Jr. too, and like,
oh wow,
man, like, so like those are the little moments for me where it's like, yeah, like I worked the show, whatever, but like being able to be there for that, and that wasn't something that was televised, like that jam, that was so cool, man. And like those are the things that just inspire you to just really dig in and just learn something else about like music, whether it be a new instrument or phrasing, or like, that's the thing with music. There's no like starting and ending point. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
Like it's not math driven or anything. It's whatever you're feeling. It's passion. It's creativity.
It's an outlet.
It's an outlet, and it can be whatever you want it to be. And I think that's something that's so important. And I'm glad to see it still kind of at the forefront of everything, just for, you know, people of all ages.
What pushed you to find that outlet? Was that when you were a kid? Did you just gravitate to music? Is music in your family?
It was something where like I think I'm the only person that plays in my family, honestly. My mom played piano a little bit, but it was something where like I kind of started that, and it was just my creative outlet where, for whatever reason, like especially being a teenager at the time, like not knowing like what's going on inside your head, you know, you're trying to make sense of everything, and it was a creative outlet, and it was a set of skills that you could practice, because like I would do that, and I was involved with sports until like I think it was like high school, and so like I just tried to do whatever I could and just like build different skills and just learn and just be a student. And just the best way to put it is I knew from a young age, like, I don't want to just be like normal. I don't want to just like follow a linear path. Like I want to live my life, man. Like I want to do something extraordinary. Like I want to do something meaningful and just learn as much as I can and make the most of this time that we have, man, because we don't know how long that's going to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a little deep, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, that is essentially what this show is all about, because I'm one of those people that feels like I want to build something. I want to create something.
Yes.
I haven't found that perfect passion and purpose combination yet, but I play with those ideas all the time. Like that is what is in my head. That is what I'm putting in my notebook all the time, like trying to figure those things out. And that's where this started, was having these conversations over a pour, over a cigar with people like yourself here at the lounge. And I'm going, well, I just basically read a whole book sitting here having a conversation with somebody. And I wanted other people to be able to gain from that and to hear those conversations. And maybe it helps somebody find that purpose or passion. Maybe it sparks this idea. Maybe it tells them of a failure of somebody that's on a path that they want to go down or they're thinking about going down, and then they're able to extract that information and gain this little nugget that if that was the only thing they gained from this, like, hell yes,
exactly.
Like, rock on, like, do that. Like,
it's all progress too, man. It's like I wasted a lot of time worrying about trying to perfect certain things.
Yeah.
It's like I wanted things to be perfect. Like if I was going to do a podcast, it would have to be executed in this way and like do this and be about this and consistency and just like constantly building. But man, there's so much to gain from just progress. And to your point a minute ago, just getting people to talk about their passions and what they're into, man, that awakens like stuff in you too.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
absolutely,
they may be trying to figure out what that path looks like for them, but if you get them talking about it, man, it's just like, it just builds and builds, it snowballs. And like, it's cool to see what you can pull out of people. And that's probably one of my favorite things that I try to do is like when I meet new people, it's like, hey, what are you excited about? And it's like, it's such a strange question to a lot of people because people don't ask that stuff, but it gets them at least thinking. And it's like, I was like, all right, get back to me on it. But what are you excited about? Whether it be like this weekend, next month, what are you doing in your spare time? For me, it's like even things like Legos, man. I can't tell you like how many times it's fun just to sit down and just like build like a giant Star Wars Lego set or something.
You say that.
Yeah.
This was a couple years ago, but at the time my nephew was 5.
Yeah.
And he is so much smarter than his age already. And he's a tinkerer. Yeah. He likes to build. He wants to make contraptions. We bought him this like engineering set because his mom's an engineer that you can make little circuits and alarms and triggers and stuff. He was 5 and it was for like a 12-year-old. I think it was like 10 to 12. He was like, within an hour, he was like, Uncle Garrett, come look at this. I made an alarm. Watch. I can make booby traps now, and like I can have an alarm. And he's like showing me all this stuff's going on. He's already wired the circuits and stuff. I'm like, you're 5, dude. Like, I thought we were going to sit here and help you do this. And like, nope. But on the next time, I was like, all right, now I got to level up. I gotta go. So I go to this hobby store, and it's like, do I get him like is he going to build his own drone? I mean, he's already flying little drones and stuff around the house. And I'm like, well, they had an Iron Man head Lego thing. So I bought him a gift that ended up being perfect.
Yep.
But I bought this stupid Iron Man head. My wife looked at me when I came home. She's like, what are you doing? I literally got a bottle of bourbon out. I was sitting there building a damn Iron Man head for like 3 or 4 hours and like was about to like rip my hair out. Like, because like, there's no way like a little kid could do this. I'm so glad I did not get this for him. But hell, he probably would have built it faster than I did.
Honestly, man, those are some of my favorite sets. So they have the Iron Man helmet. They did like Carnage. And they crossed over into Star Wars. They had like Stormtrooper helmets, Darth Vader, Mandalorian, and like and like those are like the perfect form factor for me for like a Saturday or something where it's like it takes you a couple hours to do. But the other thing that's kind of weird is like whenever you're building like the inside of it and like the frame, all the weird colors that they have that you don't see like once you add all the accent pieces. Where it's like, holy shit, this piece is blue and yellow. Like this is gonna look awful. What are they doing? And then you just kind of build around it. You're like, all right, I see you. I
mean, I have a good friend, Noel. Shout out to Noel and Jamie. their son, I'm going to butcher this. It's either NSF or NFS. I think it's NFS, neurofibrosis something. Their son has this condition, and they do a lot of stuff to raise awareness and everything else. Noel is like a full-time pilot, but when he's home in his spare time, I mean, I like panic. I almost have a panic attack for him sometimes when I watch him pull out these kits, because his son Jason is like, I want to say like somewhere between 8 and maybe 10.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to guess closer to 8. But they just did the big stormtrooper, the starship and all this. I mean, these are like tens of thousands of pieces. And it's like this kid takes on this with his dad, and they build, I mean, this kid's house has to look like Lego Castle because they build these monstrosity of Lego things. And I think that's so cool, but it keeps him engaged and using his mind and stuff in a different way.
That's what I like. It's like it's engaging. You're using different parts of your mind. It's hand-eye coordination. It's mental clarity, because like it's just complex enough that whatever noise you got going on from the week or whatever else, you have to get rid of that and focus on whatever you're doing.
So I need Legos in my life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, busy do some Legos.
I need some. They're expensive as hell.
Oh my God, they are, dude.
I buy my kids Legos. I stopped doing it because they would always put these complex Harry Potter and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I'm downstairs in my office and I hear Godzilla, boom, pow, couch. And then, have you ever stepped on a Lego?
Oh, bro. Dude, it's the worst.
I should be in jail for the violence that I committed on this 9-year-old for leaving like Lego traps for me when I come upstairs, because they be doing shit they ain't supposed to. They'll turn off the hall light, throw some Legos out there, and then I step on it, and when I start screaming, you can hear them shuffling, like getting in bed. Like freaking geniuses.
Yeah.
But Legos.
I knew I liked Oliver.
Yeah, he's evil.
Oliver's the mastermind
He's
behind
an
that, I
evil
guarantee.
genius.
It's a new kind of pain, man.
Bruh.
I mean, I remember as a kid, me and my brother, we had those bunk beds that like one was down and turned this way, and then you had the other one this way, and there was like a dresser here.
Yep. It had
And
the
I
steps
had the
on the
top bunk,
side.
and it had the steps up the side. I can remember, because I used to like toss and turn my, I still do, toss and turn in my sleep, you know, all that. Well, I rolled out, and I can remember falling on Legos from the bunk bed. Like, that's the worst.
It's like
ever.
WWE when they have the thumbtack matches.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Same
exactly. Exactly.
Channel that Cactus Jack, man.
Bruh, what you know about that? That's a whole nother podcast.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I grew up on, man. So, like, especially like junior high and high school, all of our friends and their families were nice enough to like get us all together and like buy the pay-per-view for us.
Okay.
Because like back then, you know, that's where like before you really have a concept of money, and like, you know, $50 seems like a year's salary at that point.
Yeah.
But or like WrestleMania was like $80 or whatever, and so we'd have to call the cable company and hope the cable box worked. I wonder how many people have no idea what the hell we're talking about with like pay-per-view and cable boxes.
Oh, some do.
Yeah.
I remember
All
the cable box that it got so hot you can grill cheese on it.
Right?
It was huge, yes.
Or you'd go tap the little brown box so you could watch Skinamax Between the Lines at night when you were like 13. You're like, I just saw
the
half a
good old
boob.
days.
Boob, boob.
The good old days.
We didn't have the internet.
No, it was a different time. But yeah, man, it's just all getting together, just like ordering like pizzas and stuff like that, and just getting to watch WrestleMania. The parents would take turns like taking us to like Raw and stuff when we would come through.
Okay.
Like,
But that was the
airlines.
Attitude Era when it was good. Like, I used to drag my wife every time WWE came in town. I have 2 chairs. One I have a WrestleMania chair because I went to one, and we had SummerSlam. I have a SummerSlam because when you sit in the front, they have custom folded chairs. So I have the 2 folded chairs at home.
We
Like,
need to talk some more.
Bruh,
Yeah,
I got
see,
to
I
know
was-
wrestling sucks. I don't watch it, but
I was in wrestling-
Attitude Era was great.
I was in wrestling a little bit when I was a kid. And then when I was like 18, my roommates were obsessed with wrestling. And we'd have Monday Night Raw night and whatever I think it's Thursday or something like that. I can't remember.
SmackDown.
It's Thursday Night SmackDown.
And then when WCW was around, I used to flip back and forth between the 2
we
channels.
Would go, it was Chick-fil-A night. We would go to Chick-fil-A, or not Chick-fil-A, Chicken Express. We'd get the family Chicken Express tenders, come back, we'd make macaroni and cheese, chicken tenders, and we would watch this. And it was like a ritual. And then one of my roommates, Brandon, took me to see WrestleMania. And I remember it was the Hardy Boys. And they were on
Was that the one with the ladder match with the Dudley Boys?
Yeah, and they were jumping off these.
You were there for that?
Yeah, it was.
That
insane.
is considered the best ladder match in the history of wrestling.
And I was like, that was super cool. But I was like, and everybody says wrestling, yes, it's fake. Yes, it's staged. Yes, it's an act. But like,
yeah, but you can't come off of a 12-foot ladder and fake that
stuff.
No,
like, these guys are still doing athletic things.
Yeah.
And putting on an entertaining show.
And if you ever see any of the videos when fans try them in real life and get their asses whooped,
Yes.
it's like, so right now, Bobby Lashley,
Yep.
I didn't realize that because all them guys are now going to make money at UFC. They get to do it for, and they are beasting these guys in the UFC. So
I don't believe that.
From what I hear, it's just
I want to see a guy that's a wrestler for like WWE.
YouTube Brock Lesnar UFC.
Dude, Brock Lesnar's a chump. Dude, that's chump. That's
let you
a
tell him that.
ginormous dude. That,
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen. Once they got some other dudes that were his size to fight him, that were actually trained fighters, they destroyed him. Like,
He made it a lot farther than anybody else
but
walking in the
anybody else, like you name, I want to see someone in a lightweight, middleweight, featherweight that jumps in from wrestling and thinks they're gonna have all of a sudden grappling skills, jiu-jitsu, boxing, all these things.
Now, some of these dudes, they actually do train in the arts.
I mean, I
they are
understand,
getting it.
but I mean, like,
Apples
I
and
don't think.
oranges. Apples and oranges.
I think you're a little apples and oranges there.
No, I'm not saying they're superheroes.
It's a
Now, don't
different
get me wrong.
discipline.
They're actors.
Yeah.
But a couple of guys have gone to the UFC and done their thing.
But that's it, man. They're telling stories.
I mean, you got Ken Shamrock.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's
So you
like
have
the
Ken
first.
Shamrock back in the day.
He was the first, but he was
And then
real
you're going
deal.
to have somebody like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm super into UFC. So, you know, comparing wrestling and UFC, that's like,
Sacrilege, huh?
oh, man. Like, I mean, it's cool. I mean, I would think it would be really badass if, you know, John Cena or somebody or The Rock was like,
No, they're
not
actors.
just a badass athlete and did wrestling and got into the movie business, but then turned around and came over and did some like.
I'm a Rock
killer
fan, but he
shit.
would get all the steroids knocked out of him if he walked into a UFC ring.
I mean, for real. I mean, you see these guys like, what's his name? Tim. He's like an Army Ranger sniper, and he was in the UFC. He comes in and out like that dude. I mean, you're gonna put a wrestler dude in there with that guy? I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, it's. I remember in my day when everybody. Remember you heard of backyard wrestling?
Oh, yeah.
It was on YouTube's earlier day when
It's like
these
that, like
guys.
the Kimbo
was-
Slice fights too. Like,
Oh, but
like
and
that era of YouTube.
So
was
a very
awesome.
good friend of mine fought Kimbo before he passed away. Friend of mine from Omaha, yeah, Houston Alexander. Houston was pretty big, and kind of like how Bud Crawford is now. We always get one person out of Omaha at a time. We don't do two or three. We get
It's a
one.
small town, man.
Well, you got 311.
Well, but
That was more than one.
can you name another one? I mean, actually, a lot. We got a lot of people from Omaha. So
Yeah.
here's a wrestling fact: what old school wrestler is from Omaha, Nebraska?
Give me a time period though, like Attitude Era. or
I'm gonna
before?
guess.
A
Ric
same-
Flair.
No, same era as Roddy
Randy
Piper.
Savage.
Show me the money.
Really?
Ted DiBiase
Really?
is from Omaha, Nebraska.
Wow, that's like another big wrestling family too, man. They
Yeah.
had his son did it, and then I don't know if there's another one now. I don't know. That's been like since like 2010 or something like
Yeah,
that.
Junkyard Dog. All those guys started in the Omaha Wrestling Federation. I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Like it went deep. So they always came to Omaha because of a lot of people started in all these little ones in the Midwest, and
Yeah.
it became what it is. But anyway,
So
back to rock and roll.
Who was your favorite though? Who's your favorite wrestler?
Of all time, you know what? Because of, believe it or not, I got to say Stone Cold.
Hell yeah, man.
Stone Cold is
Nothing like that.
there's nobody didn't have it. And when I watch all the documentaries now to see how he started to where he is,
Ringmaster. Yeah.
he just always stayed the same. And he was the only one really fun to see live. So if you go to wrestling live and you don't hear the commentators, it's weird.
Yeah.
You just see them up there wrestling and
Yeah,
everybody's
that
cheering.
is a little
The
weird.
commentators is what makes it just like football. You go watch
Or
a football
UFC.
game.
I mean, you got to be able to hear Joe
Yes.
Rogan and all
Talking
these
because
guys.
they get you amped up. That's what they get paid for. Like when we go to the Cowboys game, we're talking to each other like, oh shit, touchdown. So anyway, man, what about blah, blah, blah? Because it's not captivating live unless a lot's going on.
See, I might just have a little bone to pick with wrestling because wrestling inspired me to do something really dumb one time, and I still pay that price.
You did not use your common sense?
I did not use my common sense. I was trying to entertain people and think I was being funny, and I didn't realize that my Instagram, because I told my wife I'd only put it on Instagram, just so that the whole family didn't see all this photo I put out. And yeah, man, I forgot that it was automatically linked to my Facebook, so it posted on both. Yep. And then my family roasted me with it on a family vacation, and now it's like this big running joke. So yeah, I thought I was gonna do a little Randy Macho Man Savage, make people laugh, and yeah, we'll just say there's Speedo and gummy worm involved, and it was pretty bad. Oh. Now my whole family's like diving off of here right now. They're like, God, you just reminded us of that horrible experience.
Shame.
My cousins are laughing their ass off right now.
Man, there's no one like Macho though. He was always my favorite. Just like that was like the epitome of that larger than life character. But that was just him. Like he found that like gimmick that worked for him.
Yeah.
Where it was just an extension of himself.
Character. Yeah.
Turned up to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a half.
Yeah. But no, man, I got I got a Slim Jim like Macho jacket with like the fringe and stuff. I got the Macho robe.
So who's your favorite wrestler from the Attitude Era?
Attitude. I mean, Stone Cold's right up there, man. Undertaker and Kane were something special too. Just like seeing these dudes, there's these giant monsters. They just like choke slam people. Like,
so I liked Undertaker because of the monster truck.
That too.
Mm-hmm. That got me a little more into that.
Mm-hmm. I just seen the documentary. I forgot what, but he was talking about. He became so obsessed. He was the Undertaker all the time.
Yeah.
He never came out of character. When he's shopping, when he's wearing a hat, it'd be 800 degrees. He's walking up somewhere with the trench coat, the hat, quiet eyes, did it all the time.
I feel like he's the ultimate person dedicated to the business, and that it's called kayfabe, just like staying in character and just like committing to that character. He did that for 30 plus years, and then just recently, retired and kind of came out of character, started doing documentaries and just like speaking as Mark Calloway. And it was just like,
and it was crazy to hear how chill and unmenacing he really is.
This is this giant redhead dude.
Big dude too, man.
Most historic thing I've ever seen in wrestling, Shane McMahon jumping. Well, was that
Mania?
When he jumped off on not Cactus Jack. What was he at the time? What's his other Mick? When he jumped off the top rope, or he got slammed. Somebody got slammed through a cage to the floor, and it wasn't supposed to happen.
Shut up.
He got thrown off a 25-foot cage. It was called Hell in the Cell.
It was
on Raw too.
Mick Foley did that.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, here it comes. I told you, my family, of course, they're all on and listening to this episode. Of course, you guys are all jumping in on this.
Thanks for the views.
Let them have it. Just go ahead on, let it on hang out. Garrett never gets a chance to have any fun banter on his show, so I encourage y'all to interact. He's going to get me later.
I think we had a lot of banter last week, but we couldn't understand what they were saying.
I didn't understand what the hell they were saying.
Because it was all in French. I had to pull the laptop over here and show the guest. I was like, hey, Baptiste, he's like, we're not engaging in that. I'm out on that. Nope.
It's so humbling, man. Because even when we were in Canada for one of the last tours we did, there's this whole movement to preserve the language and the culture of French in Canada.
Yeah.
And so everything is written in French first and then followed by English. So if you go in, it's like bonjour, hello. And that's where I try to be polite everywhere I go. And I'm like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, ah, shit, you're from America. I was like, man, can I just get a coffee? I promise I'm cool.
Cafe.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, get out of here, you fucking tourist. Get out of
here. Yeah. My wife and I were in Vienna when Trump got announced as winning his presidency.
How did that go?
That was an interesting place to be. Literally everybody in the bar. We were literally sitting at a bar, big street side, kind of like what you picture, the bar in Friends or Cheers. You got the big picture windows. You got the main city outside at the bottom of the hotel. We're sitting here having old fashions, just kicking back. And literally, when they announced it, everybody turned and flipped and looked at us, and it was like, they're like, really?
You did this.
You just elected, you got fired? I was like, I'm here. I didn't do anything. You know, like, and it was instantaneously. So it was an interesting experience. But yeah, those happen a lot. So what you're still doing the music, but you also transitioned into TV production. And I know you and AJ, who we had on a couple weeks ago, were man, I haven't had this shit. I'm kind of looking forward to trying this.
ZZ Top rye whiskey, man.
Yeah.
So you're saying?
So AJ, I know you and AJ are doing some stuff together. So you doing the movie type stuff, or just strictly TV? What are you doing with production? Where are you channeling that into?
Honestly, like, I really have shifted to live events. Those have been my favorite. Now, doing like more of a cinematic, like, film stuff, I did some of that in college. A lot of fun, man. Just like, it really amps up that creativity, and like the people that are like really have that mind and vision for it. It's really cool to see. I've always been more of someone where, like, I'll do production management or like run audio or things like that, where it's like I can still be creative, but like I want someone else to like follow their vision. So I gravitated more towards live events. Met a crew out of New York. So I started. Someone got me on Super Bowl here in Dallas when that started. So we were doing the halftime show.
Okay.
And from there, just like, it's all networking. So it's all just like word of mouth and just getting to know people. And so right after Super Bowl wrapped, they were going to do the NBA All-Star game in LA. And so the production manager for Super Bowl was also on the talent logistics team for NBA. And so it just kind of lended itself to that. And I was able to, I said, hey, listen, I'll work as a local, so don't worry about travel. Like, I'll crash at a buddy's house, save on budget, just to get on the show and just make those connections. And like, that crew, like, I actually just worked with a lot of the same crew last month doing the NBA All-Star game in Utah. And so like, we've just stayed in touch over that time. And it's like, with that, we're doing logistics. So we book all the talent for the show, so all the performers. We pull people from their seats for like awards or whatever. So it's like, so-and-so needs to be up here at 7:36 to accept their award, whatever. Our team will get them to where they need to be backstage, get them to stage managers, and just facilitate all of that. Me specifically, like, I normally will do like transportation management. So like, we'll handle all the limos and get people the cars that they need, pull people up, get them taken care of from the hotel, rehearsals, whatever. And so it's cool how we all come together, but everyone has such an interesting background too. But what I like about live events in particular is, like, we come in, we do it. There's no safety net on live TV. You know, you got to get in, you got to find a way to do it. And it's like, the car is supposed to come from here, be here at this time. It doesn't always happen. Or it's like, so-and-so got in their Bentley and they're driving themselves now. And you're like, well, okay, I got to find out how to get them through, like, with a police escort or whatever, to make sure they get in and access to the venue and where they need to be. So it's a whole different set of skills that, like, it keeps you sharp and agile and just like makes you problem solve. And it's kind of a rush too, because you never know what's going to happen. And it's like, the show has to happen either way, and you just got to figure it out, man, and trust in your team. And so I dig that a lot. And so, like, whenever I get offers for things like that, I'll go do that, or like award shows. So it's less of like the planning for weeks. You just kind of come in a week before, get everything lined out, do the show, and then you're out the next day if you want to. Like, it just depends on what the gig is and what the requirements are.
So I'm hearing a lot of common things, like you like being around people, you like helping people.
Yes.
You like organizing things and problem solving. So have you kind of focused your purpose or passion on those things, or
yes,
where do you tend to lean? Because I mean, I know you work in IT as a day job.
Yes.
You've got the music side, you've got the production side. Where are you trying to focus and mold your talents and your passions right now?
In the people that I meet. And so a lot of people say life is about the journey. I feel like it's equal parts the journey and the company. And so I think if you go out of your way to meet these new people, bring those close that are just like-minded and want that as well, you can do anything. And it's really something special. And so I feel like it's something where the core of it comes from helping people. I worked at Apple for a while as a genius at the bar over here in Stonebriar, actually. And I got to work at 3 different Apple stores in the area too.
I totally knew I knew you from somewhere else.
Yeah, did I accidentally delete your iPad or something?
No, actually, I think you helped me. I think you introduced me because you guys couldn't actually solve my problem and I needed more help. Yep. And, man, what is that dude's name? I'm going to think of it. We're going to talk about this later. But yeah, he has a super badass business card. It's black. It's matte black. It's like it feels like a black credit card, like the Black American Express.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and you turned me on to that dude, and he saved my ass when my computer got crashed.
Man, it's stuff like that. That's at the core of it. It's just helping people. I want to use my time here to bring out the best in people, to get to know people, get them talking about what's important to them. I listen a lot more than I talk, and it's something where like I want to encourage people's passions and encourage them to see this stuff through, to have the courage to go try something new. Like we have such a short time, man, and like I feel like that's kind of been refocused over the last couple of years. Like, you know, my life changed a lot, and it was something where I had to grow up real fast.
What's giving you that sense of urgency? Because a lot of people have to have a very traumatic experience in their life, or a death, or a diagnosis, to have the kind of understanding you do at your age of this, like, life is not endless.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it. And it was a combination of all those things. And so, like, I found out, number one, that I was diabetic. Type 2, so, like, you can put some work in and get it under control, which, thankful for that.
Join the club.
Yeah, you too? Yeah, man, it's such a, like, that was such a scary thing. Because, like, I mean, I've had friends, you know, with cancer and, like, everything in between where it's like your whole life changes in a moment. And thankfully, with mine, I knew I could put work in and get where I need to be. And so, you know, I dropped 100 pounds, man. Like, not overnight, but, like, you know, I put in the work. And it's something where, like, you have to count on yourself to do that. You can rally around people and have people have your back, but, like, it's up to you to do that.
Yep.
And the quote, I'm going to butcher it, but it was something that I read. It was something along the lines of, every man has 2 lives. It's the one that you know, and then when you realize that you have just one. And that's where it just, like, really lit it up for me, where it's like, man.
That's badass. I like that a lot. Say that again real quick so anybody that missed that real quick.
I might butcher it, but it was something along the lines of, every man has 2 lives, or every person has 2 lives. The one that you think you know, and the second one that begins when you find out that you only have one. And, you know, it could be tomorrow, it could be 6 years down the road, it could be 100 years, whatever. Like, but making the most of each day. And I was so guilty about, hey man, like, I'll do that next week, or I'll do that tomorrow. It's like, no, man, do it today. Find a way to do it, and just make that progress every single day. And that was a big part of it. And, like, I suddenly lost my dad out of nowhere, and it was something where that was right as I started a new job as well at Stitch Fix. Yeah. And, you know, that job ended up taking me out of state. And so I moved somewhere where I didn't know anybody at all. And I had just, like, I'm talking the first day he went in for surgery, and then he passed that weekend. And so I'm trying to focus on starting a new job and, like, you know, like, really dialing in on a career. And it was something where you had to grow up so fast. And it's like, it wasn't expected. It was sudden. I was 35 years old.
Okay.
And I'm 36 now. So, like, it's been, you know, a whirlwind of a year, but at the same time, like, man, I'm thankful for the growth. And it's like, that's just it. I lead with humility and, like, being grateful and just thankful for both the people and the experiences that I get to have every day, where it's like, the fact that you hit me up, like, hey man, like, would you want to be on my podcast? It's like, man, I'd be honored to. Like, this is something, like, I'd love to just be able to sit and talk with somebody and hear someone's story. Like, I mean, who am I? I'm just some, you know, random dude, but, like, it's cool for me to, you know, this is a memory we're going to have now. And this is a conversation that we have, and, like, we're lucky enough to be able to, like, stream it too and just have it to where you can revisit this at a later time. Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it's like everyone has different life events, some that they choose, some that they're forced to, like, just grow up quickly. And it just molds who you're going to be. And it's up to you how you want to move with that. I mean, you and I both have a really good friend. I mean, that's super powerful what you just said. And you and I both have a very good common friend in AJ Falk. Yeah. AJ, I can't say enough good things about AJ. AJ is my boy. I've not known AJ long,
but I feel like I've known AJ my whole life because he is so real and just, he is AJ every day from sun up to sundown.
Yes.
You get what you see. He's real. He's honest. He's, he's blunt.
Yeah.
And he sees the world through a little different lens than a lot of people. And I absolutely admire that. And,
Yes.
AJ came to me like literally right after he was on the show. He's like, hey, man, I've got a guy that I really want you to get on your show. He's like, I don't know how this works with you, yada, yada, yada. He's going to be up here at the lounge soon. I'm going to introduce you guys. And then I kind of forgot about it, a week or two later. He rolls up, you're here, and I am half lit, partying at ICC on a private event. I got my wife here. We're having a good time. And he's like, hey, I want you to meet my friend Geoff. And I swear he said something different than Geoff, because I even texted him after I left. I was like, he's like, hey, this is one of the most interesting dudes I know. He would be great conversation, great person that you need to get to know on your podcast, and I think you guys would be great friends. And I was like, okay, cool. And he introduced us, and I was like, man, like you already had this like big introduction that you probably didn't even know you had.
No, man.
And it was just like, you're meeting me for the first time. I'm lit. He's like, giving me all this information and stuff, and I'm like, okay. So, but my very first impression was like, yep, AJ's onto something here. We need to have a conversation. So,
thanks,
I mean, I even texted him that night, and I was like, I think I said like, yeah, give Tim my information or whatever. And he's like, I will give Geoff your contact information. And then I was like, well, I at least feel better that it's not Geoff spelled normally.
That part.
Man. So that I always pay attention because, you should see the way my name gets spelled all the time. Like, it's amazing.
Dude, yes. I've embraced the Geoff.
Yeah.
It happens,
The
man.
Geoff. I like
Or
that.
my name is Geoff. That happens all the time, man.
Yeah.
But I can't say enough good stuff about AJ, and I know he'll be pissed that we're talking about him, but at the same time,
we did invite him to be back here and sit in because he is actually in the lounge.
Is he?
Hanging out.
All right.
So I did invite him back here to sit in with us. So I don't feel real bad about it. I mean, we can tell all the AJ stories we want to tell.
There you go. Plus, I showered today. I don't know about you.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Of course, twice, actually.
Hey, there you go.
No.
But like you said, man, it's rare that you meet people that are so real and humble and that want to get to know that story about you and that want to be there for you. AJ is always checking on me. He's always making sure I'm good. And it's without asking or anything. He's just, like you said, he's just wired that way. And those are people that you meet throughout your life, but they're so few and far between. Everyone always has an angle, it seems like. And he's one of those rare people that's just selfless and just humble and just a genuine dude. Hey, man, I got you, whatever you need.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, hit me up.
Absolutely, man. AJ's story is an amazing story. For those of you that haven't heard it, go back, catch that episode with AJ.
Yeah.
I promise it's one you don't want to miss. AJ is one of those people that really will resonate with a lot of people because, he didn't always have a certain life.
No.
And, he had some experiences that changed his life. And that's what it's all about, having those experiences, growing and moving forward and, accepting some of those things and having the ability to move past some of those things and to see a different path.
Exactly. And just having the ability to just kind of be objective and think about how you want, you're in control of your life. And that's what I wanted to say is that we can't always control what happens to us.
Yeah.
And we have different circumstances that get us to where we are right here in this moment. But it's something where you can control how you react to it.
Yeah.
And the more that you're able to separate, all right, I can control this aspect. This is just going to be a variable that can happen.
Yeah.
And you can still control your own story. And it's
Absolutely.
You control your mindset, your attitude, and how you want to approach the day.
Yeah.
Man, everybody's got something to be upset about or that could have gone better or, any of that. But if you can find a lesson in both the good and the bad and the indifferent, man, you're rich beyond your years, man. That's wisdom that you can take with you.
Absolutely.
And that's what I just want to be able to impart on people too, where it's give people the tools to discover shit for themselves. Where especially at my time in Apple, I met a couple people. They're some of my best friends right now, where that was the time in their life where they really discovered something new about them, and they decided, whether it be a career move, whether it be a relationship, whether it be, trying to sort things out in their personal life, whatever, And to see them get that win, man, that's the best feeling in the world. Like that means more to me than anything else.
Absolutely.
Like those are the things that I remember, and like those are the memories where you're like, I know I've lived a good life. Like if today is my day, man, I'm happy with like how I left things. And
Hey man, not many people can say that, and that's something badass to put out there and a way to live your life. I'm gonna give a quick shout out because you made me think about this, and it's something I ain't talked about a lot yet. A few episodes back, we had a buddy of mine on, Alex Shaw, who does the whiskey weight loss. So you made me think about this when you were talking about your being diagnosed with diabetes type 2. So I went from being 38 and this before COVID, I knew 40 was approaching.
Yep.
And I had gotten up to 215. And that is the most I'd ever weighed in my life. And I was like, this has to stop. Went and signed gym membership, got a trainer.
Yep.
And for the next 2 years, I was at the 5 a.m. club. Yeah. I got in some of the best shape I've been in my life. Now, did I lose the weight I like really set out to? No, but I got my body in a place where I was happy with it. I got back down to 205.
Awesome.
But I was a pretty jacked 205 at the time. You know, I had never had an upper body that large, you know, that defined. I still couldn't lose everything I wanted to in the midsection and stuff like that. But I was the kid growing up that was 6 foot tall, and I couldn't break 120 pounds till I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But then, and so I trained for sports and everything else. It was put weight on, put size on.
Right.
But then you get to a point later in life where, all right, the weight's coming on, and you don't, I mean, I've been trained in all the ways to get bigger or bulk, but I had no knowledge, no training to take it off.
Right.
So I did that, and then COVID happened, and then I'm out the gym 2 years. Well, it slowly progressed to where I'm doing this podcast, and I take a picture with these guys, any and everybody that's on my show, after the show, promote it, and I'm like, holy shit, I am getting to be a fat ass. Like, I'm not happy, like, and I'm just seeing it more and more and more. Well, after Alex came on, and I turned Alex's program down to do another program. I'm not going to say it now, but I'll talk about it again another time when I finish this program. And Alex came on my show and basically was like, you turned me down, but I probably wasn't even going to accept you in my program because you weren't in the place where I needed you to be for me to be a good coach for you.
That's some humble pie for sure, man.
And I was like, holy shit, this dude just came on my show that I'm helping try to promote his stuff and said, like, I wasn't even going to pick you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even let you pay to be one of my clients. And I was like, I went home and, man, that ate at me for a little bit, you know, and like I thought about it and I was like, you know what? Like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I need to do this. So I started it. 2 weeks before I started his onboarding program, I was 239. Like, I finally stepped back on a scale and I was like, yeah, it's worse than I thought it was. So I am now, like, I've gone through that. By the time I actually started his program, the week of onboarding, I was 236 because I made a little few changes, started getting up early again, working my way back into the gym. Then when I officially started his program, I was 232. Last Sunday, after 4 weeks of this, I'm back down to 222.
Dude,
so solid
awesome.
10 pounds, but I've lost like 2 inches off my waist. I've put some back in my upper body, and I'm starting to get back there. Like, and it's steady progress. So for those of you that are interested, I highly suggest going back and looking at and listening to that episode. Check out Alex Show's Whiskey Weight Loss Program. I can't recommend it enough. I mean, I thought I knew a lot about this stuff, but he has so many small tweaks, insights, and things that he can teach you and help you on your journey, no matter where you're at in your journey. And I highly recommend that. When we get to the end of the 8 weeks, Alex is going to be coming back on here. I have before and after photos.
Awesome.
I don't give a shit. I'm going to put it out there. Y'all know me. I mean, I wear it on my sleeves, so we'll even put the Garrett fat ass pictures out there. But we're going to do this, and we're going to talk about that more. And I mean, I highly encourage everybody because there are so many simple tweaks to your life.
Yes. Of
not changing your life, but changing your mentality, the way you look at things, and just making some smarter decisions and living by this like 90-10 rule where 90% of the time, if I know like I know throughout the week, I am going to drink on Tuesday with my guests.
Right.
I want to drink at least another day or two over the weekend with my wife and friends. When I started thinking about it, 1.5 ounce pour of bourbon is about 100 calories.
Yep.
If you don't account for that in the day, because it's calories in and calories out.
Yep.
If you're storing fat and you're not where you want to be, and you got to put your body in a deficit, one way or another. You can help with exercise, and exercise definitely helps. I have not been doing anything crazy. I've been, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I do a full body workout. It's little. It takes me 30, maybe 40 minutes if he introduces something new.
Yeah.
Knock it out. I then realized that he wanted me at like 8,000 steps a day.
Yep.
Well, my job, I sit behind a desk most of the day. When I started tracking it, and I don't wear an iWatch or a Fitbit or all these other things that track it. I had to remember to carry my phone with me.
Yeah.
Because your phone will track you. Well, I started paying attention to the phone. I am nowhere near getting in 8,000 steps in a day. And I was like, well, holy shit. And I'm thinking I'm pretty active, no, I'm not. Most of the time you're sitting and bullshitting or whatever.
Yeah.
You're not even walking around. You're not walking the dog. You're not doing X, Y, Z.
Yep.
So you start paying attention to these things. Well, it instantly told me I needed to walk even after just walking. I'm not doing anything. I'm not running. I'm not even jogging.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the elliptical. I'm not doing the Stairmaster. I am walking on a damn treadmill, listening to an audiobook, listening to some music, whatever it is, getting ready for the day. And I found that, on a day where I'm feeling it, I'm doing 45 minutes after my workout.
Yep.
Or at least 30. I got to get 30 in, or I'm not going to come close to my 8,000 mark. But if I get 45 in, I might hit 10,000 or get up over the 8,000 mark. And it is helping tremendously. And I've not changed my lifestyle drastically. Yeah, I'm making smarter decisions eating. But if I'm out and about for work and I have to go for Chick-fil-A, he teaches you tricks how to order smart. You may think that this is a smart decision. I promise you, there's a smarter one, and it's actually better. The best example he gave was you could order the chicken salad and a small fry, or a chicken sandwich and 10 nuggets.
Yep.
Which do you think is actually more fulfilling and better for you, calorie-wise and everything else?
Exactly, yeah. It's a sandwich
It
and
ain't
the nuggets.
the salad and the small fries.
No, man.
It's a whole sandwich and 10 nuggets, which the first time I ordered, I couldn't eat the whole 10 nuggets.
Exactly.
But I was fulfilled. I lowered my caloric intake for the day, and that was me on the go. I had to adapt, and he teaches you these things that I haven't. Last week I had my biggest one. I lost almost 5 pounds last week.
Awesome,
I was
man.
sick a day that I didn't make it to the gym.
Tapeworm?
Yeah, pretty much, man. Dinner caught me. I don't know if it's food poisoning or just stomach bug, but
It shit sucks,
I
man.
ate one thing the next day and drank a bunch of water. Did not go to the gym. And, because Wednesday and Saturdays are my cardio days. I go get an hour of cardio in, walking, whatever. But I didn't get any of that in. And one night last week, I got hammered, hanging out, having a good time, and we ordered Whataburger. I had a double Whataburger cheeseburger and a small fry, which I only ate a few fries. I did not eat much, and drank some water. But I ate a damn double cheeseburger, and I had my biggest week of losing weight.
That's awesome, man.
So to speak to his program, it does work, and I want to encourage people to check that out. It's not the most expensive. I can tell you that right now. I know he's making some changes where, I'm in the 8-week program that then has a follow-up program if you want to keep going that teaches you maintenance and everything else. But he's kind of combining those for anybody that signs up now. Excuse me. And it's a 16-week program. I highly recommend it. I've spent way more money on personal trainers, XYZ weight loss program and stuff like that. This is working. And
That's
anybody that wants to get their health a little more in check and learn how to do it in a way that you can continue to live your lifestyle and make exceptions and prepare for the things that you know are coming in your week, I couldn't speak higher to that, because it helps you change your mentality, which is what you really need.
Yes.
And when you start feeling it and seeing it, and I'm not lying, it was slow at first. And at first, those first couple weeks, I was only losing a pound.
Yep.
And I was getting frustrated because on the other program, I was losing 4 to 6 pounds a week, but it was miserable.
Exactly.
It was absolute hell.
It's not sustainable.
My wife was going through hell trying to like cook meals and everything else. I was going through hell because I was starving all the time. They didn't want you working out. They only wanted you walking 45 minutes every day. And it was absolute hell. Like, I don't recommend it unless you're somebody that is going through a medical condition and you need to lose a lot of weight fast for like a heart surgery or something that is bigger that you really got to do that for. But I'll get off the weight loss thing, but I really wanted to throw that out there for him and put that out there because I know a lot of people about that. I mean, you just said, you got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Yep.
I mean, you learning something like that could help you lose, if you lost a pound a week for a whole year, you're down another, 56 pounds.
Exactly.
That's huge for you, that's a life-changing thing that like maybe now you're not, having to take X pill like
that. Yeah, it's everything, man. Because like a lot of the medicines that you take for that are ruining other parts of your body. So like your kidneys and your liver are getting destroyed by the medicine that's helping you keep your sugars
If
down.
you take that nasty ass metformin, it whips your pancreas. That's my doctor told me, unfortunately, and all the other stuff. And like I said, that's why you gotta be on your shit and just get right. That's what,
man. And it's like
A1C
it's progress.
right, you can come off all that crap.
That's huge too. And it's like when you can start to see that progress there and be able to dial it back, like that is the best win. Because speaking to your point, any of that health in general, it's a total body engagement, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything. Like, whether you have like, an emotional attachment to food where it's like, man, you're having a great day, let's go party, or you're having a shit day, let's go eat 2 Whataburgers, whatever it is. It's different for everybody, and we all have different makeup. But speaking to your point, like I watched a little bit of that episode, and like I pride myself on being able to read people. And you can tell when people are bullshitting. You can tell when people are just telling you, trying to sell you a bill of goods.
Yeah.
That wasn't him. Like,
no.
He is genuine, and he can help find you ways to, do what's best for you and what your goals are. And for me, it's all, like you said, like you don't have to like go run a marathon, run a 5K or anything like that. There's a place over here, a nature preserve, Arbor Hills, that my buddy turned me on to.
Yeah.
Man, have you ever been there?
Yeah, I love it. I live real close to there.
That is one of my favorite things that I've found since I've been back in Texas. I moved back at the end of last year, and just being able to go there, like you make one lap, it's 2.5 miles, man.
Yeah.
Like you can shorten it.
You're ever over there, hit me up, man. I'm down to go do that with you.
Let's do it, man.
For sure.
Like that's awesome. And so like that's where I found the most joy lately, where it's like, especially getting off work, going right before sunset, getting to see the sunset there, like finishing the lap or 2, depending on the day, ringing up anywhere from 3 to 6 miles, like on average. And you don't you break a little bit of a sweat, but it's not like as intense as some of the other stuff.
Yeah, nature. It's meditative. It's relaxing. Like my stress levels too, just like getting back in the gym.
Yes.
Or even if it's just, as boring as walking on a treadmill is, it's still therapeutic because if you can at least zone out, listen to your audiobook, listen to music you like, don't listen to anything and just zone out and think for a little while and just walk.
Yeah.
Just walk for an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be
total brain refresh.
You walk for an hour at 3.6 miles per hour.
Yep.
You're gonna burn 300-400 calories, and I mean, that's just extra. Like, and it was. I promise you, it'll change your outlook. It'll change the things the way you feel. It'll lower your stress levels. It'll do a whole lot for you, man. Like, cause it's time to you as well. Because if you set that time aside for you,
yes,
you are separating and saying, I am valuing my health. Whether it's your mental health, your physical health, whatever, you're giving yourself that time.
Yeah.
And it's an hour of your day. Like, minimum. Like, just making some small tweaks like that can be so huge and helping all aspects of your life.
But dude, I've had like some of the best like moments of clarity, some of the best conversations about just like life or relationships or whatever it is, man. Like you can just connect with people on a different level, and it's just like you're feeling all of the needs all at once. So mental, physical, everything. And it's just like it's like you said, it's just a short capsule of your day, but man, it's just exponential growth and progress that you see. And man, I wouldn't trade that for anything. Like that's kept me grounded. That's kept me like, you know, I've always like, especially over the last few months, I want to be the best version of me. And that's for me, for myself, but also for the people that I interact with, whether it be like my friends, the people that I date, whatever. Like I want to be the best version of me for myself and for them. And like, that's such a great way to do it. And it's just, it's inspiring. And it's just like, that's the real shit that we all think about that we don't always get a chance to talk about. Where it's like, you know,
or we
it's
make excuses for.
Yes,
because
exactly.
It's easier to stay where you're at.
Yeah.
And to make up another bullshit excuse.
Yeah.
Than to acknowledge that, like, I mean, even with me, like Alex and I have these weekly calls every now and then. It's like, I'll tell him like, hey man, I'm not really digging this. He's like, it's working though, right? And I'm like, yep. And I keep telling myself like, hey, obviously what I was doing before or what I did before didn't get me exactly where I want, so I'm gonna do it your way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just gonna stay true to that as long as I'm doing your program. And you know, maybe when I'm done with the program, maybe I make some other tweaks just because I've gotten myself to a different place where that's feasible.
Dude,
you
it's
know,
cheesy too, man. It's like, and especially like as men, like, you know, I feel like there's all that stigma there too. But like, man, if you can look in the mirror and like what you see, love what you see, be proud of what you see, that's fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
that's the greatest gift that you can give yourself and the people in your life. And it's like, being proud of who you are and like what you're about and just like living your life, man. And just like, I don't know, like that's something that I every single day I try to do that. And some days it's easier than others, but I mean, it fuels everything, whether it be like sitting down to learn a new guitar part, just learning stuff by ear, or like, you know, even in Urizen, like, you know, we're up there wearing like, you know, battle vests and like, you know, knee pads and baseball pants, all this stuff, like just like being able to be stoked about what you see and just like embrace that part of it too. Like, it's just fun, man. Like, like we have a robot, we're
Be a
fighting
little more childlike.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
Like we're fighting a mech of a mad scientist, and we get to do that on the floor, like in the crowd, and like, you know, have people get involved with it.
And there's people wearing boxes on their fucking heads.
Dude, that was
like,
the wildest thing, man. Like we're playing a convention in DC, and people brought their own boxes, and like that's just like a symbol of like, we have a song called Box Makers where like the gist of it is like, we make the things that we can't afford to buy. So it's just like speaking to the economy and like how hard life can be, and just how you kind of rally around each other. And dude, seeing like looking out in the crowd somewhere that I've never been, you know, in that capacity, seeing people with boxes on their heads, like, and you see the video too that got shot, and like people are like, it's awesome, man. And like they bring it to the merch table afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, like y'all really got me through a dark time in my life. And it's like, dude, I don't know what to say. Like, it's just it's so humbling where it's like, man, thank you for caring about like what we're doing and like for sharing that with us. Like, I want to live my life and hear people's stories, and like not even self-serving ones, just you know, what gets people excited and like how they like
what
overcome
can I take
adversity.
From that?
Yeah, man. And that makes it all worthwhile, where it's like, man, like what we do is wild. And like, especially with Urizen, like we have a trailer full of just like stuff for all these props.
Yeah.
And, you know, for people to embrace that and like it and have fun and like be able to like, we had some person that did like a dance routine to some of our music, and just getting to see that and have that shared
Like
with
a TikTok?
us. Man, no, this was like ribbon dancing, like competitive dancing that they did to our music of all things.
That's cool.
Like, dude, that's awesome, man. Like, for me, it's just like, dude, that means the world to me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's funny we're talking about this now, so I'll tell another story. This literally just happened this weekend on Saturday. So there's this dude that I see at the gym, right? Now that I've been back in for a month at Lifetime. And there's always people if you don't people watch at the gym, something's wrong with you. Like,
that's the best part.
You can try as hard as you want to, but there are some people that are just gonna catch your eye, right? So there's this dude that is like absolutely fucking ripped. He's jacked. He's a little guy. Asian. I don't remember if he's Chinese or Japanese. Can't remember off the top of my head. This dude's jacked. And at first, I was like, what's this dude's problem? You know, like, I'm watching this guy, and I'm trying to get back in the gym mode.
Yeah.
You know, like, week one, I'm like, man, I'm over here struggling and stuff. This dude is having the time of his life. He's taking selfies with people. He's got a selfie stick. He's videoing his stuff. He acts like he's at the nightclub on ecstasy. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. Like, this dude is bouncing around. He's dancing in between his sets. He's doing things that you see kids do on TikTok, and I'm just like, this dude's like living his best life. But like, my first thought was like, does this dude have like Tourette's or something? Like, what is his medical condition? Like, there's something not right about this dude, right? So I watched this dude for like 4 weeks, like, and every day is the same thing, man. Like, this dude is in his own world, putting on a show, taking selfies with people. Some of the 5 a.m. gymmers are like, they know him, they're being cool with him, and I'm like, why am I like so like, what's wrong with this dude? Instead of like, damn, I wish I had that kind of energy. Like, This dude does not give a fuck. He is living his best life. He is, I mean, absolutely getting it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm kind of beside myself, you know, but like, I'm judging this dude, like completely judging him. I'm literally trying to diagnose him in my head. Like, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
Yet, he's having a better time in the gym than any one of us. He's getting better results. I mean, it doesn't make sense, right? Because it's not my norm.
Yeah.
It's not my comfort zone, for sure. Even if it was
I
my
think
norm.
every gym has that. We have a lady at our gym, me and Brandon go to, Texas
Right.
family.
So,
Bad.
so check this. So Saturday, I get to the gym late. I mean, I'm pulling at like 10 a.m., right? I'm just trying to knock out my cardio. Like, I'm going to do some cardio. I'm going to sit in a hot sauna.
Ooh, that's the
I'm going to
best.
shower. I'm going to go home, and I'm going to enjoy my weekend with my wife, right? Dude walks in, and he, like, sits on the bench right next to me. He's kind of getting ready. And he starts having a conversation with an older guy around me, and you can tell he's, like, down. He's bummed. And I'm like, hey, man, like, what's up? Like, dude, you bring the energy, like, around here. Like, I don't know what's going on with you or whatever. He's like, my name's Jonathan. And we start talking. He's like, do you care if I take a selfie with you? He's like, I take a selfie with everybody at the gym and people I get to know and, you know, kind of we're talking about now. And they're like, sure, man, we take a selfie. We took a selfie. He's like, can I friend you on Instagram? I'm like, sure, man. So he hands me his phone. I put my personal Instagram in, and I was like, man, I should promote the podcast too.
That's
I
always
put on a
hard.
podcast, and I hand the phone back to him. He's like, you have a podcast? I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, do you let normal people come on your show? And I'm like, what do you mean, do I let normal people come on my show? He's like, I think I have a really good story, and like, I'm recreating my life right now and everything, and like, I think I have a good story. And I'm like, okay, man, like, we can talk about that, like, for sure. And he just instantly starts telling me, he's like, so you said that. He's like, man, thank you. You just changed my day. He's like, I'm a recovering alcoholic. My sweetheart from when I was like 15 left me. I was like 200 pounds overweight. I've become a gym rat because of all this. I went through AA. Now I only have 2 drinks most, and you know, like, I still enjoy alcohol, but like, I respect it now. And I'm a gym rat. I live my life to get healthier. I just finished nursing school.
Damn.
I'm becoming a nurse practitioner of some sort with children. And he's like, one of the children I've been helping for a long time, I just found out he died. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, now I feel like an asshole. Like, I've been over here, and like, I kind of was like, man, you're like not the life of the gym like you normally are. And he's like, man, but like, you gave me what I needed today, man. He's like, I'm really interested in doing your podcast. Like, I want to talk about it. He's like, I troll people, but I live my life on, he's like, I'm a social media guy now. I'm blogging because I grew up in a traditional family in my Asian culture where we can't even talk about these things. And he's like, now that I'm seeing a therapist and everything else, like, I'm learning all these things about myself and how to like live life and let it go. And he's like, that's what I do in the gym. And I was like, holy shit, here I've been over here thinking the guy's fucking crazy and has something wrong with him. No, dude's living his best life. He's actually doing work to get right.
Love that.
In the best way he can, seeking professional help. He's a damn nurse practitioner helping children, and he just had one of the children he's been working with and had a relationship with die.
Yep.
I'm like,
it goes to show you,
shit.
man. It's like we never know what people are bringing in, whether it be someone you see at work, whether it be someone you see at the gym, or for me, like, I'm a big collector, and so like for me,
we're gonna talk about that in a minute.
Okay, cool. So like an example would be like the record store. Just thumbing through records. The people that you meet there, you hear their story, and it's like it's the same thing where it just puts everything into perspective, and you can be brought together by the most like silly thing, like buying like a black metal record or something like that, and it's like, oh man, I love their first album. Oh yeah, have you checked out this band? Oh dude, awesome, they sound like this. And there's just like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like the vehicle to get there can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
what makes it so cool is, you know, whether it be at the gym, the record store, like going to like Comic-Cons or something, like whatever that interest is for you, you're around like-minded people where it's like you have that to fall back on. And I feel like, especially here, AJ brought me into meeting the people at this lounge, and it's like, you know, with him doing an amazing DJ set that we did like last week, I was like,
First Friday.
I'll be honest, man, like normally I hear a lot of stuff, I'm like, whatever. But like the way that you did your thing, like you could see in like the selections that you made and the way that you brought things together, it's like, man, this dude loves what he does. And he's got a great passion for it. He's got a great like breadth of just experience, and like the library that you had and the way that you brought stuff together. It's like, man, this is the most fun that I've had, man. Like
In a cigar lounge.
in a cigar lounge of all
Cigar
places.
lounge. And everybody's treating you like family when you walk in. And you're
And
just
you
like,
can't fake that shit, man.
No.
Like the people here, like I've been here all of like 4 times now, but they make me feel like I've been coming here for 20 years, and like they genuinely are happy to see me and want to show me something.
You want to move closer and be able to be a part of
Right.
it more. Yeah.
Man, it's so cool, and it's like I've always loved cigars, but like I'm very, very like shallow knowledge on it. Like I've something like I'll go through the humidor, and it's very like gatekeepy at other places that I went, where it's just like, they're like, what do you want? Like, you know, or they'll judge you based on like how you look or like what you're looking at on the rack or whatever. And it's like, it's not like that here.
Yeah.
And
No.
you know, I know we were at the event the other night, and just like the little like curated, like the amount of curation that goes into the humidor here, and the stuff that these guys bring in and that they're passionate about, it's so cool to see.
It's amazing. We talk about this a lot. Like, they're gonna need to start sponsoring my show other than just letting me record here. But you know, same thing with Adrian. I mean, yeah, I keep telling you, this is my new favorite one. This is this month's shirt from Cigars and Guns. I mean, Adrian is putting out fire. Fire. We're gonna have some common sense stuff coming out soon. April, the website should be done. We'll have the website done. Merch will be coming, so you guys can get you some cool common sense merch. That will be coming. But yeah, man, I mean, I've always been amazed since the day I stepped foot in the public lounge here. The family, the friends, the people that walk around and just start a conversation with you, like, don't even know you, and they walk up, shake your hand, say hello. Hey, what are you smoking? You really like that? And you're like, man, I'm a newbie, whatever. And this guy walks over and is like, hey, man, you should try this too. If you like that, take this home with you. And next time, try this out. I think you'll really like that. I mean, just like...
It's my people, man.
Yeah, and they've created this environment here, the Frakes, that is absolutely bar none. I mean, like, I've been in more lounges since this all happened, and I'm going to say it too on here. This might get me in trouble, but I really don't give a shit. There's a new lounge in Dallas, folks, and it is literally in my backyard. I went here with some friends. I'm not a member there. It's cool. It's just like the other stuff in Dallas. It's going to be like a nightclub. It's a club. It's not really a cigar lounge. Yeah, you can smoke cigars there. They have a badass... The one thing I'll say that's amazing there, they have a badass filtration system. Yeah. You don't smell another cigar. You don't go out of there smelling like a cigar. Like, that is badass.
Yeah.
Their drinks are overpriced. I mean, it's cool. You want to get dressed up. You want to go do that. It's a thing, man. Go with your friends. I can promise you in a year from now, that vibe, they're going to have to change the name or something because Dallas wants the latest and greatest and it's got to be new and hot. Like, yeah, that's it right now. But it is nothing like this. I mean, the humidor ain't that great. Cigar selection ain't that great. The advice, if you walk in there and ask a question, I guarantee you, because I didn't know half the cigars in there, and I'm no expert, but I do know a good amount about cigars at this point after being a member here for a couple of years. But it's not what a lot of people making it up to be. Like, it's going to be one of those things, like, it'll grow old. Like, watch. This doesn't grow old.
No.
There's new people coming in all the time. There's new faces. There's new conversations. And there are people that come and go, but the majority, the core of what comes in new that stays, genuine people. Like, you're at a country club. You're at a social networking event where, like, people really are sharing that because it's people that are looking for those experiences. They want to come in, have a cigar, have a drink, relax, and then, oh, lo and behold, I made a new friend. I started a new conversation. I learned something new. Like, you can't fake that. You can't make that happen. No. They've done it magically. And I know there's a lot of talk and people get worried about it and, think that it's like, maybe feel threatened by it or whatever. It's a new thing. I promise to any of those that are listening, I don't think that's going to be the thing. Like,
no, it speaks to just the character of everybody here too. And, I'll be honest, man, a couple weeks ago, it was the first Friday. AJ was like, hey dude, like you should really come out. You'll have a good time. I was like, man, I don't know. Like I was having kind of a shit day and like I was going through some stuff and like, I came home from work and I was on my couch hanging out. And he said, dude, come up here. I promise you will have a good time. And I did, and DJ set was awesome. I got to meet some of the regulars here, like Ty and Ron and Kayla, like all just like really good people. And
the mayor,
it's good when you remember names.
I never remember names either. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So like, I know we've hit that and like we've been kind of heavy-handed with it, but like it's the real deal. And so like if you have any interest at all, or even if you don't and you just want to like go somewhere new and experience something new, like it's welcoming and you don't find that most places. But to your point, like even if it's like as simple as like maybe like a GameStop or something, like if you want to go buy a game, man, I would drive to Allen or Plano or like Bedford or any of these other places to go see the people like that work for the company where it's like, I can buy this game digitally from the couch. I don't have to do this.
Yeah.
There's no incentive to go to any of these brick and mortar stores, but the experience and the connection you have with these people, that's what makes it special. And it's like, I'll do that every single time and never feel bad about it. Like, even if something as stupid as like Whataburger, like there's someone that works at the one in Euless that like, I've seen him for like 15 years, man. So I went to high school down there and every single time, man, like the way that he's normally on the window and he's like so bright about like just greeting people. And I know I'm weird, man, but like I'm someone where like whenever someone like say I drive through somewhere, hey, welcome, what do you want? I'll always say, hey, how are you doing? Before I order anything. And that's just like how I am. It's like this burger can wait a minute. It's like I want to take a second to be like, hey man, what's going on with you? And a lot of people don't know what to do with that. And they're like, yeah, good, whatever. But this guy, like, man, I can't tell you some of the interactions we have where like even like right when my dad passed, like my dad and I used to go there all the time and he was like, hey man, where's dad? And so I told him, he's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm so sorry to hear that. And like he just like he sat there and like we just genuinely talked where it's like the world stopped for a minute. And I think that's like for those
people
of you,
need a lot of that in their life.
Yes, and like especially with something as heavy as grief, like I feel like we all navigate it in different ways, but I think the hardest part about that is that the world doesn't stop. And I think that's the most bewildering part about it is like you're feeling the most intense shit that you've ever felt in your life, or you're trying to make sense of everything, but at the same time, the world keeps going.
Absolutely.
And like that's a hard adjustment. So when you can find little pockets of that, that's what gets you through. And that's where it's like I want to pay that forward. Like I'm not going to buy someone's coffee just for the car behind me. Like we've all done that, but like it's not going to be like do that and then hey post on Facebook, hey, you know, I bought someone's coffee, like
Yeah.
you know, +5 in the karma bank. You know,
Yeah. I got that coming to me down the road.
No, man, it's like you got to do that just because you want to do that and that's who you are.
And drive off.
Yeah.
Or just ask somebody how their day is.
Yeah.
You know, like that simple statement of you doing that in a drive-through. Like, I feel like that relates to my Saturday experience with Jonathan. You know, like,
Yeah.
I didn't know this dude. I'd been judging him and making all kinds of assumptions about this dude. And yet, he just lost somebody that was close to him. And his vibe went down. And me asking him about it and giving him an outlet to talk about it was all he needed.
That's huge.
That's all he needed that day. And I went back upstairs, started doing my workout, and by the time I got done and went to do a little bit of abs, that dude's over there popping around, doing his thing, doing his dances, getting in his workout. And I was like, and then he saw me, and then he's like, and he said it again before I left. He's like, hey man, I want to do a show. Like, let me know how we do this. I was like, I'm going to get you in here. We're going to figure this out. Like, when he told me about the AA thing, he's like, I can have 2 drinks a day. I was like, whoa, I don't want to promote that, like, you just got through this, you're making this breakthrough, and then we're drinking. I was like, because I've had people on my show that we don't drink at all. You and I can drink coffee, man. We can sit here and drink a protein shake after our workout and, you know, talk whatever. It doesn't matter.
Whatever's
like, whatever is cool.
Yeah.
It's just what usually helps the conversation or allows the most common ground, because I've just found that whether it's the bourbon, the tequila, the spirit,
Yeah.
or the cigar,
Yes.
people let go of the bullshit in their life or the stuff that's around them and can have a serious conversation. You can talk about taboo things. We do it in the lounge all the time, where this might be the hottest thing on the news and you just feel like if you said this at your work, with your friends, at a bar, that we can't have a conversation about this. Like, this is going to turn into a fight.
Yeah.
You know, no, that happens up here all the time, whether it's race, religion, color. I mean, there's a guy up here that I'd love to have on the show someday. I'm not going to put his information out there, but he just gave me 3 books he wrote, and he's a preacher.
Yeah.
And I read like 60 pages of that last night. And man, I'm telling you, like, I get it, man. Like, I'm not a big church guy, not really into that. Like, had my own experiences with that and my own thoughts on that. But what he's talking about, we could have conversations about that, and we could talk about that. And I think that's super interesting. Like, I don't know that he's ready to dive into all that. You know, like
I want that perspective though. Like, I want.
So do I.
It's like I'm glad that we think differently, because I want to know why you feel the way that you do, or like what is interesting about it to you, or like why does that resonate with you. I've never had that, like, you know, especially with that. It's like I didn't find that fellowship in the churches that I went to, but like I would find people in other circles where it's like, okay, I can vibe with that. But like, I think, you know, being open-minded enough to hear different perspectives, it helps you grow and helps you, you know, determine what's important to you. And like you got to have multiple perspectives, man. We're all so different. We're all so, you know, from different walks of life. I think there's so much wisdom and value in that. But on the gym point, like what we were just talking about, I keep hoping at some point in my life, I'm going to run into Ronnie Coleman at the gym. Do you know who Ronnie Coleman is?
Absolutely, I know.
Oh my God. Can you imagine that? Just walking in here, yeah, buddy, from the back. It's like, oh my God.
I wish I could tell you a story. I'll tell you a story off air, because I can't talk. We can't talk about it right now.
Okay, fair.
But yeah, Ronnie Coleman's a legend. I'm a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Same.
You know, like what those guys did. Now, to me, that's the extreme. I get it.
Yeah.
That's their thing. I don't want to do that. And like, you seeing what that did to some of those guys' bodies now.
Oh my God, yeah. Like Ronnie in particular.
I mean, being healthy and in shape is one thing. Pushing yourself, like, and it served a purpose for them in their lives at those times. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I would like to have the conversation with them now. Like, would you trade that? Would you trade that? Would you, if you could have done that with a little more modesty or taking it down a couple notches for you living your life now, knowing that you're still alive now, would you have sacrificed what you sacrificed for that? Or to them, maybe the sacrifice was worth it. you know, they may have been going through some much worse shit.
Yeah.
That payoff was worth it to them.
Yeah.
That's why they still do what they do. And you got a Ronnie Coleman walking around with a walker and shit, but he's still in there banging weights, man.
Yeah.
Banging weights. The weight
Number
that,
peanut.
weight that you and I can't even lift.
Hell no. They do bench
And the
presses
dude is
Suburban.
crippled and had neck and back surgery. He's fused from his top of his neck to the bottom of his spine.
Yeah.
And yet, dude's still in there banging.
Yeah.
4 a.m. I mean, that is insane. But that just shows that different people are motivated and have different reasons for what they do.
Yep.
And we don't always understand it, and it may not look like our norm, but it may be somebody else's norm. And we need to learn to quit judging that as much. I mean, I was guilty. I just told a story where I was guilty of it.
We all are.
And we all are. We do this on a daily basis. But be more open-minded. You know, ask a question. Say hello.
Yes.
Say hello. Ask and genuinely care how somebody's day is going.
Yes.
We all go through shit.
Yep.
We all have bad days. But that simple conversation could completely change that.
Yep.
It could open up a new door, a new friendship, a new relationship, a new opportunity.
Gary, think about this,
All
man.
that is there.
You're right, 1,000%. And there's a reason why you can ask anybody that you run into, and they can do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Mm-hmm. He is that relevant. He has transcended everything, with pop culture, like fitness, health, everything. And he's still, like, he was a governor, man. Can you imagine? Like, who would have thought that?
Bodybuilder to movie actor to governor.
And, you know, also loves the stogies, too. So, come on. Everybody could do an Arnold. That's what's wild to me.
Yeah.
It's like, that dude moved to the States, put it all on the line. It was a different time back then, but at the same time, he's still relevant today. He's 75 years old, and he's one of the biggest people on, like, social media and TikTok and stuff like that. And, like,
And he's sharing his knowledge
Yes.
still to this day.
no, that I can't say enough about him, man. Like, like, I hope that I can live a life like
I gave
that.
away. You're gonna kill. You're a collector, so you're gonna kill us. So I found and framed all 5 of Arnold's iconic posters that I want to say Bally's did back in the day. It was released by Bally's. 5 posters. I wanted to get him signed, and I realized, like, I had no room for him in my house. I gave him to my trainer friend who helped me through a lot. I know they're in a good home, but man, like, I found 5 of them, the whole set, pristine. These were released in like the early 90s after he won all of his Mystery Universes. They're so iconic, but like, I can remember my old roommates messing with me because there's one of them where Arnold's like flexing, and I had it over my bed, man, at the time in my apartment. And they're like, what do you do? Beat off in front of Arnold? And I'm like, I hate you guys. You're such assholes. But you know, that's stuff guys do to, you know, each other. Quick few shout outs, man. Chase, what's up, man? Glad you're checking out the show. Lee, thank you so much. Adrian. I want my sponsorship, bro. I feel like, I mean, I wear this shit like every week when I'm on here. I don't feel like I should be paying for Cigar Talk Live or cigars and guns, t-shirts anymore. I think I've earned my promoter status.
Any minute he gonna come through the door and be like, "What?"
Yeah.
He's right around the corner.
Yeah, just come right in here. But for those of you that don't know, before we carry on and wrap this show up, you should check out Cigar Talk Live tonight if you are not planning on it.
I hope you have a strong
And
stomach.
I hope you have a strong stomach. I don't, but I've got to see this. Adrian's wife is challenging Brandon Frakes, and there's this crazy big bet. You should see these damn minnows. I did this at Redneck Haven when they used to have the little minnows, and you poured it in the shot to the minnow.
Man.
I did that dumb shit when I was much younger. They have a bet tonight. Kat has to take out the minnow, and these minnows, I'm not shitting y'all, they're like
They're
this
big.
long.
They're big.
They're big.
Yeah.
She has to pet it, name it, and then she has to put it in and shoot it while it's still swimming. Like, not enough time that the alcohol can kill it. Shoot it. 2 of them. If she does this, Brandon, and I'm going to butcher this. Maybe, Biz, you can help me out here.
Brandon has to then.
What's the egg called?
I don't know. It's some big.
It's like
ugly ass-
beluga egg. So
Yeah.
it's a duck egg. It's like a super big egg.
With a duck in it.
The baby duck is in it, dead. And they cook it, and he's got to eat the whole damn egg.
No, I'm good.
That's happening tonight on Cigar Talk Live, so I feel like y'all should tune in, check it out. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of other interesting things. I'm personally going to be out in the lounge because I'm going to watch that shit because I got to watch Cat squirm. Like, I love messing with Cat. But, yeah, watching Cat take down those 2 minnows, and I hope to God she can do both of them because I really want to watch Brandon have to eat the duck thing. Like, that. I might have to turn my eyes when he does this.
Oh, God,
not going to lie, it might make me sick, but I really want to see it.
I'm Team Cat on this. Like, I hope she can do it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God, dude. Yeah, that was a special time, man. Like doing that shot, I was like, man, that. You look back, you're like, why did I do that?
All right, speaking of,
all right,
you brought something special because you're super into this like Viking stuff. I mean, like the Viking brother beard, and you brought like props and everything.
Yes.
I shouldn't be surprised.
I was wondering what the hell that was over there.
So,
Yep.
Biz, you're going to have to man up. You're going to have to do a shot of something here. Because
Hey, you said I just had dinner. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, all right. You heard him say that. So we're going to do some like Norse Viking tradition here.
We got our drinking horns here. So, Biz, which one do you want, man?
I take the one on the left. That
Okay.
one.
All right. So I'll do one and then Biz can do one.
All right. So this is mead. It's a traditional drink. It's
Like mead, like Thor mead.
Yeah, mead. Yeah,
Mead.
It's honey wine.
Yeah.
So this is a Fort Worth brand called B and Brew. They're awesome. Check them out if you haven't.
Whoa.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're
no
good.
shit.
You're good.
Whoa, don't like kill me over here.
No, you're
Oh,
good,
shit.
man.
You
It's
first,
sweet.
Garrett.
Alex, you saw I did not pour that if you're watching this. This is our boy over here, which I'm going to hook you up with.
Yes. So we like to say skål. It means cheers, props, whatever you want to.
All right, is there some like Viking, like I feel like you
know
got
what?
some other Viking thing we should do before we do this.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We can like set bonfires and do all the crazy.
You got to
stuff,
burn
right?
down a village and kill
Yeah,
some
exactly.
sheep.
I've got something for you that when I get my next barrel from Alan Bishop, who I'm
Yep.
going to get down here on the show. Yes, Chase, Brad McNeil, we're getting his ass on here. I think you need to come on here with him
Yes.
just so we can keep him in check a little bit. But yeah, Chase, we're down on that.
This is a special drink. It's good. Here's to good health and friends, man.
All right. Cheers,
Skål.
brother.
What do you think? It's like fig and honey. It's different.
I like it better than the ZZ Top.
Yeah.
We can talk about that. But yeah, man, that doesn't suck.
No. Now see
It's
when you
kind of
drink
like beer.
yeah.
It's got a little bit of a beer taste to it, but then it's got the honey and, like you said, fig. I
Yes.
totally got the fig part on there. He gave you a girl shot.
Of
That's
course
not
he's gonna
even
kill me.
right.
You want more, Biz?
He gave you a girl shot.
Hey man.
Asgard.
There you go.
Yeah.
Skål.
Yeah. It's not bad, dude. Like, and it's light. I was expecting like some kind of like Viking, like
It's good, right?
hammering you.
Now see, here's the thing. It's 19%. So when you have 3 or 4 tankards, you're gonna be in a good spot.
So I don't need to take my
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
with us.
absolutely,
that is
man.
Awesome.
Happy to do it.
So my friend Alan Bishop is
Yeah.
the head distiller at Spirits French Lick.
Awesome.
Alan likes to send me weird shit. You're gonna love this. You and Alan are kindred spirits.
Awesome.
And he loves this kind of stuff. I hope he watches this. I'm gonna have to send him this link.
Yeah.
But so Alan sends me this weird bottle. I get it in a package from Alan, and I'm like, what the hell is this? It looks like moonshine, right? Like it's in this like flask type jar, and it says Groot on it. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to be the dumbass and ask him what Groot is, so I Google Groot. The definitions you get Googling Groot is nothing that's going to really tell you what Alan Bishop just sent me. So my older brother comes over, who I've only known for like 4 years at this time, right? I'm like, hey man, you and I, we're going to try this shit tonight. And he's like, all right, I'm down. So me and Dean, we crack this bottle, right? Normally when I crack a new spirit, I want to smell it
Right.
before I taste it. Yeah, that was the first mistake. So when you smell it, it smells like you left a little bit in the glass at a senior party in Cancun in high school, and it's straight up worm in the bottom of the bottle.
Like absinthe?
Mezcal.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
Nasty. Smells horrific. I'm like, don't know if I can do this. We both look at each other. He's like, man, fuck you. Like, really? I'm like, yeah, we're both going to do it. Man, took a swig of it. One of the best things I've ever had in my life.
I love it, man.
Tastes absolutely amazing. And I don't like black licorice either. And it smelled like it had some black licorice to it. Like, all right. So finally, I can't take it anymore. I call Alan and I'm like, I texted him. I'm like, because it was late at night. We're hammered now. You know, we were drinking Groot and damn near killed the bottle. And I was like, yo, what is Groot? And he's like, man. So the Vikings made beer. They made Groot because before there was hops, they made Groot to add hops to their beer. Groot's what they use. He's like, and I thought with my ancestry and everything, 'cause he's up in Indiana, big into the Viking ancestry, all this stuff. He's like, if the Vikings were that smart to make this into hops for beer, what if they distilled it further and made Viking whiskey?
That would be awesome.
He's like, so when you saw me out there with the stones and the fire out on the back of the family farm, and I was mixing all this stuff up and brewing and, you know, distilling, he's like, I made Groot. Put it in my basement and, just distilled it, put it down there, bottled it, going, okay, that's Groot. So Groot is Viking whiskey if the Vikings were smart enough to take their Groot and make whiskey.
I love that, man.
He's supposed to have some more coming to me. When I get it, you are first phone call on my list. Awesome. We are going to drink Viking whiskey together.
Man, it's just, they were just so fascinating to me. I feel like the more and more that you learn about it, there's so many different stories, and like whether it be the mythology of just like all the, the gods, goddesses, beasts, everything in between. It's so
Loki.
Yeah,
probably
dude,
my favorite.
It's so interesting to me. And there's like one of my favorite bands is Amon Amarth, and they're a Swedish like melodic death metal band, but like their guitar parts just sing, man. And
I'm gonna have to hear this now.
Yeah, I'll show you. But what's cool is like their singer formed a company with some of his best friends called Grimfrost. That's what these shorts are too.
Okay.
But they do period accurate like tools and forge. Like they forge their own utensils and stuff like that. They built a long ship with traditional means. So like that kind of stuff is so interesting to me. And like those are the people that like I want to just have a beer with those people. Like get to talk and like hear their story, like whatever it is. But like someone's so dedicated to their craft and like something that they're interested in, where they just go all in. That's fun, man. You can learn something. But yeah, they make awesome stuff. They have clothes and like period accurate stuff. They did axes for all the people on the Vikings TV show, but like hand forged stuff, like carved runes and like designs and everything. It's sick, man.
All right. Well, I just looked at the clock and we got to wrap the show up. Unfortunately, because I feel like you and I could sit here and do this for 2-3 more hours very easily.
Absolutely.
So you will have to be a return guest on the show. We'll have to do another one. But as we do, as we do at the end of every show, I got a couple questions I have to ask you.
Hit me.
So, first one I'm going to ask you, and knowing you don't have any kids, if you had kids, what would be if you, and it sounds morbid and everything else, but it's not the gist behind the question. If this was the last piece of advice you could give your kids, what would that piece of advice be to survive and live in the world today? What would that last piece of advice you want to give them?
Stay curious. Take the time to invest in people, to hear their stories. Find people that are not only similar, but also those that are different. Gain as many perspectives as you can, and form your own conclusions. Like, have something tangible to pass on. Like take the time to learn. Step outside of your comfort zone and just meet people. Like we're so lucky. There's 7 billion people on the face of the earth right now. If you get a chance to talk to more than one or two, that's awesome. Listen to people's stories, ask the right questions to get people's passions out, and just like keep those stories alive, and just like
Absolutely.
Be present. You know, I'm guilty of always looking into the future and trying to be, you know, like see all the moves and just perfection.
Yeah.
But
We all are.
we all are. But be present and allow yourself to be open-minded to different viewpoints and just learn people's stories, man. Like the human mind is so amazing. The human heart, the synergy between the two, you can really learn a lot. So just learn as much as you can during your time.
Absolutely. Awesome answer. Next question.
All right.
And the last question.
Okay.
Before we end this thing.
Okay.
We ask everybody, because we do this little segment in this show called My 2 Cents.
Okay.
You know, it's common sense, but, you know, maybe it's something you and I've talked about. Maybe it's something we didn't get to talk about. Maybe it's something that's just been weighing on your mind, or that you feel you want to share X message with everybody about your 2 cents on life. Whatever it could be, this is totally your minute to say whatever you want, and it's your 2 cents.
My 2 cents. It's a really good question. I like that. I have like 3 answers. I want to just combine them into one. I think it goes back to being present. Being present and spend your time here enjoying the company. You know, all of our journeys are different. We all have different things to get us to where we are right now. The most beautiful parts of life are in the people that you meet, and knowing that you can connect with somebody from all walks of life and just see how small the world really is too. Where like you see in networking, you see in the interactions that you have with people, everybody has a very unique story and have very unique life experiences, and just challenging yourself to open yourself up to that, to hearing that, and making an impact. I think that's the best way to say it. It's just
Absolutely.
have the courage to make an impact and be intentional in your actions to be the bright spot in someone's day. It costs nothing. We all go through a bunch of shit. We all have highs and lows, everything in between. But just making that time for those people in your life, whether you're your best friends with someone you just meet, everybody has a really unique, interesting story and can help maybe fill in those cracks that you have. And just a lot of us, like I myself, I keep a very, very small circle. But man, that small circle is full of incredible people that I could not be more thankful for.
Well, I'm glad to have you in my circle and be a part of your circle now,
Likewise, man.
Like,
Likewise.
I've truly enjoyed this conversation. Thank you very much for coming and joining everybody on this show.
Thank
and
you.
Sharing your experiences, sharing your wisdom with everybody. I'm sure people gained a whole lot from the conversation we've had tonight. Love to have you back on again as a return guest. Hell, you might even be the first return guest. Who knows? But we'll make it happen.
Awesome.
But I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Please allow a little grace for yourself, your fellow friends, your fellow humans.
Yes.
Enjoy life. Have some tough conversations. Have a conversation. Start a conversation. And until next time, join us here at Common Sense. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.